Hello everybody, today we're going to be talking about different genetic developmental networks and how this can affect phenotype. So we have the example of this dragon, and we're going to be looking at how some parts of his body can express spikes and other parts of his body cannot. So one possible way that this could happen is the following developmental network, where the different letters are different proteins that act as transcription factors to affect the expression or non-expression of spikes. So how it would work would be the S protein would bind to the DNA and allow for the expression of the P protein. P protein would bind to DNA and inhibit expression of I. I protein would bind to DNA and inhibit the expression of K. And K protein would bind to DNA and allow for the expression of E, which would allow for expression of spikes. So let's look at how changes to this developmental network can cause changes in the expression of spikes. So first we just have the wild type, which is as is. So as is, S would stimulate expression of P, which would inhibit I. Inhibiting I would stop it from inhibiting K. So K would be free to express E, and E would stimulate expression of spikes. So we would see spikes in this situation. If we did not have P, then P would no longer be inhibiting I. So I would be free to inhibit K, which would not be able to express E, and E would not be able to stimulate spikes. So we would not see spikes in this situation. If we did not have I, then I would no longer be inhibiting K. So K could then stimulate E, which would then stimulate expression of spikes. So we would see spikes in that situation. If we did not have I or E, we're going to look at the protein that's latest in the developmental network, because that's the one that's going to have an effect. So that would be E in this situation. If we did not have E, we would not be able to express spikes. So we'd see no spikes in that situation. And then finally, if we are not expressing S and K, looking at the one that's latest in the network, which would be K, K would not be able to stimulate E, which would not be able to stimulate spikes. So we'd see no spikes in that situation. So how is it that two cells who have the same genetic makeup, the same genome, are able to, one is able to express spikes and one is not? Well, one way that this could possibly happen is through differences in transcription factor expression. So one cell might be expressing this receptor or repressor, where the repressor transcription factor can bind to the operator, which can prevent the expression of the P gene. As we saw, preventing expression of P will lead to no spike expression. However, a different cell that's not expressing this repressor will allow for P expression, which would allow for expression of spikes. So that's how we can have two cells with the same genome expressing two different things. Here are my references. Thank you for watching.